But it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, like, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight. It's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, like,
Gervonta Davis has gotten more warnings from boxing professionals against a rematch with Lamont Roach. One of the biggest shocks of 2025 has been the results of Gervonta Davis's latest fight against Lamont Roach. It was so shocking that the World Boxing Association lightweight champion bowed his head in shame in his corner after the fight was ruled a draw.
I'm telling you, you go all 2025. Your time coming. Never what? Never.
A rematch seems the likely option, but these boxing pros think otherwise. They think Davis is taking a big risk. The fight went the full 12-round distance and ended with the judges scoring at 115 to 113 Davis and 114 to 114 twice, meaning it ended in a majority decision draw, though Roach would have won if the knockdown had been scored. Leonard Ellerb has long been with Gervonta Tank Davis's team, and after the weekend's draw with Lamont Roach, Ellerb has spoken. Ellerb knows Davis as well as most in fighting. Speaking on X to former fighter Sergio Mora, attacking Davis in the fight, Ellerb said him talking retirement has nothing to do with competition. Do you know what that man has been through? He's a great fighter, but he's also human, and sometimes life can be stressful. When you go through things at any age, you thought he lost to Pitbull also, so it doesn't surprise me. The fact is Lamont Roach is a class player, and there is a reason the likes of Shakur Stevenson want to fight him. Davis had an off night but is still young by today's standards, with players staying in pro sports much longer than ever. Now he'll be back. The key moment happened in round 9 when, having been hit by a punch from Roach, Davis then waited a moment before taking a knee. He then rushed to his corner and asked for his face to be wiped, later saying that grease from his hair was burning his eyes. Referee Willis initially gave a count after the champion took a knee, though he later reversed that decision and ruled it as a non-knockdown. The judges later did not include the incident in their scoring, although a knockdown for Roach would have given the challenger the victory. The New York State Athletic Commission later said that a technical issue prevented officials from reviewing replays of the incident, and in a now-deleted post on their website, a World Boxing Association columnist attempted to defend Willis's decision, saying that from our perspective, Willis's decision was not unreasonable or unjustifiable. He decided in real time that Davis had not been struck by a punch before going down and therefore no knockdown should be recorded. It said judges, by regulation, must follow the referee's rulings. They do not have the power to override his decision on knockdowns. Some skeptics have suggested that Willis's call benefited Davis unfairly, but we do not subscribe to that idea. It added,
Performance from Gervonta, do you believe your confidence has gone a little bit more up?
My confidence been up. I've been knew I was the best.
Keyshawn, what's your worst?
Canelo Alvarez, who recently signed a 4-fight deal with His Excellency Turki Alalshik, sat down for an interview with Peter Rosenberg of Hot 97 yesterday. The chat covered his upcoming fight and his new partnership with His Excellency Turki Alalshik, but amid all the buzz, Rosenberg seized the moment to ask about the controversial March 1st fight in Brooklyn. Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been docked a point? Rosenberg asked. The Mexican champion answered, he took a knee. You need to lose, like, 10-8 that round at least.
Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point, and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion.
The 34-year-old also pointed out the corner he went up and put the towel in the face. That's suspension for sure according to boxing rules. If a fighter's corner intervenes mid-round without the referee's agreement, it's grounds for disqualification, so when Calvin Ford jumped in to wipe Tank's face, it could very well be seen as outside interference. With 62 wins under his belt, Canelo made it clear that his take on the matter wasn't about favoritism. It was about playing by the book.
Knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face, that's disqualification.
I am talking about the rules the Guadalajara native stressed. Former undisputed lightweight and WBC junior welterweight champion Devin Haney was among them. Haney said he wasn't completely shocked by how Roach Jr. performed, noting how they came up through the amateurs together, though Davis taking a knee in the 9th round only for it to not be called a knockdown by referee Steve Willis was something he'd never seen.
So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming in there to fight, but he did a lot better than.
I thought it was a good fight overall, Haney said. I always knew Lamont wasn't coming to lay down. Furthermore, I've known Lamont since we were kids, so we came up in amateurs together, so I knew that Lamont was serious. He was coming there to fight, but he did a lot better than I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. The no knockdown, that was unheard of. That was the first time I've ever seen it with my own 2 eyes. Hence, Haney warned that even in the sequel, Lamont wasn't going to lay down.
I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. Yeah, the no knockdown, that was like unheard of. I was first
Haney will make his return in a welterweight fight against former unified junior welterweight champion Jose Ramirez. Speaking to Boxing Games, Hall of Fame fighter turned analyst Tim Bradley said that was wrong.
Yeah, they made the rules up as, you know, of course, Tank the house fighter. They made the rules up. Yeah, that was bullshit. It should have been called a knockdown. You can't take a break like that. The only person that can do that is the referee.
The knee was crap. They made the rules up. Thanks to the house boxer, it should have been called a knockdown. You can't take a break like that. The only person who can do that is the judge. The judge can stop the action, not the other way around. Tank basically told him, hey, I got something in my eye, guy. I need to go to the corner so they can wipe it out. You don't get timeouts like that in fighting. That should have been a knockdown, period. Bradley then admitted that after watching the action twice, he had Roach as the winner.
The referee can stop the action and say, hey, let me take it to the corner so they can wipe it out. You don't get timeouts like that in boxing, yo. So that was bullshit.
I already went back and watched it. Tank Davis lost. I wasn't scoring the first time around. People were asking me, who do you think won that round? I was like, close or whatever, because I was on my own life, but I went back and I watched it, and damn, Tank lost that even without the knockdown. He lost, he just didn't do enough work. Davis has said he is open to a rematch, but it won't happen. Next, leading to rumors that he already had his next opponent lined up pre-fight.
That should have been a knockdown, period. I've already went back and I watched it. Tank lost. I watched it when I wasn't scoring.
Renowned commentator and broadcaster is supposedly getting back into the highest level of the boxing game soon and gave his new take. Lampley is known for expert analysis for the years for HBO. Speaking to Fight Height after the Tank vs. Roach draw this weekend in NYC, Lampley set up a possible shocker Stevenson fight. Stevenson. He has a reputation as being the best defender in the league. He's a feared fighter because of that special quality. If I'm Tank Davis and I'm coming off a disappointment in terms of my scoring output, I'm not going straight to the best defender in the division. I'm looking for some other fight, and I think the obvious fight for him is a rematch with Lamont Roach. Let's see it again. Let's see if Roach can go ahead and capitalize what he showed here tonight, which is that he was a much better fighter at 135 pounds than most of us expected him to be. Now, after recently discussing the possibility of retiring, Davis, nicknamed Tank, needs to decide if he is willing to put the work into his career inside and outside of the ring to remain not only an undefeated champion, but one of the biggest names in the sport. Though he hinted that another fight would take place before a rematch with Roach, Davis needs an immediate rematch and a dominant win over Roach to stay perhaps the most popular American boxer in the world.
Let the decision win. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, shit, here it go. But as soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with.
Many believe that Roach Jr. and his team have a great case for getting this call overturned if they appeal which they're already in the process of doing, an outcome that Roach Jr. has teased on social media, and Roach Jr. is stating his knockdown overturned case and what it would mean for the fight's outcome with a series of X posts on March 5th, the first of which Roach y'all tweaking if y'all think Buddy was off or had an off night, that stuff is just different there with me. I told y'all from the start, just because I feel like I won, y'all acting like I said you was easy work or some. The knockdown gives me a UD. He followed this up by asserting, I did take care of that in the ring. Ellie, you are about to make me get on you with this bias and yo heo peoples, and but leave it be, I ain't suing anybody. I'm getting a clear knockdown situated that they robbed me off. Get it right guy, report that.
So yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Like it's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay.
When someone mentioned that the knockdown getting overturned would mean he won a split decision rather than a unanimous decision over Davis, Roach Jr. said the person who scored the fight for Tank gave him that round. If the hit count is 10-8 my way, that's a 3-point swing, so I would have won that card too. Go back to your cave, casual. Roach Jr. is right that a knockdown reverse would earn him a unanimous decision and not a split decision victory. But he would surely be happy with either. The major takeaway from Davis Roach was not that Tank had been exposed as some kind of fraud or had turned in a lousy performance. It was that Roach fought masterfully and had just the right skill level and game plan to give Davis fits.
You think about what happened in the 9th round. How frustrated are you that wasn't counted as a knockdown?
Man.
That's not to say Tank doesn't deserve criticism for his performance, as many people have pointed out his tendency to start slow and to be overly economical with his punches caught up to him, or nearly caught up to him, depending on how you view him, getting a draw on his record and his behavior in the 9th round, thinking he could call timeout by taking a knee, thinking it was within the rules for him to ask his cornerman to towel grease from his eyes, basically him assuming side treatment from Willis and getting it, deserves endless criticism, but Roach deserves credit more than Davis deserves criticism. He took on an elite counterpuncher and out-countered him, returning nearly every Davis left hook with the right hand. He didn't bite on Tank's traps and feints and carefully waited and set some traps of his own.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe.
When he traded punches, he did so just long enough to let Davis know he meant business, and then got out of there and stopped exchanging, and he must have a tremendous chin because, while his defense anticipation and counter punching limited the number of clean shots he took, he still got crack on the job few times and emerged to hear scores read something Tank's opponents aren't supposed to do. Davis was a betting favorite when the fight began. There were plenty of folks in boxing ripping this as a pointless mismatch, but there were also sharper students of the game touting Roach as a challenger who would likely be competitive. Still, I didn't see anyone picking the Reaper to take a side to Tank's perfect record.
Out his eye, he had the white shirt out his eye, but the rules do state if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what I was doing in it. I think I was taking control. I think I was landing more shots. I think I was landing more.
The outcome is something of a lesson that superstars should take the biggest fights they can when they can, because rarely that marking time bout is the one that bites you. Still, any damage to Davis's image can be quickly undone. All he needs to do is sign for an immediate rematch with Roach and get the win next time at the post-fight press conference. Davis was teasing an unnamed bigger fight that he said would come first. Some suggested maybe that was Tank against Stevenson for argument's sake. Let's say that's exactly what Tim Davis has in mind. Well, sadly, that fight just lost a lot of its luster.
But if that was kind of a knockdown, I would win the majority decision.
Yeah, Lamont, this is Matt from...
With a fight like Tank versus Shocker, one that would be billed as possibly determining who is the best American boxer younger than 30, you can't have one of them coming straight off a fight most people think he deserved to lose as a favorite. Davis needs the repeat, even though winning it won't be easy to re-maximize interest in fights against Stevenson and the other for Princes. The sight of a draw on Davis's record is not a huge hit to his marketability, but the feeling that he was second best in his most recent fight is. So he needs to replace that with another more recent fight in which he is not second best.
I don't know, did y'all see me in the ring tell him to keep counting? he started counting. I was like, why you stop? Like, keep counting. But I honestly don't know. I don't know. But
Davis Roach 2 needs to happen, and it needs to happen next, and it ought to happen in a location where Davis's Baltimore fans and Roach's DC fans can combine to create the most dynamic possible atmosphere, and where New York's Willis, usually a fine ref, by the way, will not be on the commission shortlist. Well, that's it with Tank Davis right now, the star that once shone bright and was deemed the next big thing after Floyd Mayweather, but now has to fight his inner demons and face the overwhelming task of coming back from a position he never found himself in all through his career.
The fight, yeah, just didn't do enough work. I thought that Roach's game plan was.
Davis began the fight as a massive favorite and was expected by many to collect his 29th career knockout by stopping Roach, who was making his lightweight debut behind a pro-Davis crowd. Tank was unable to give the fans a highlight reel finish they have come to expect from the Baltimore product. Instead, Roach stood in the line of fire, absorbed what the hard-hitting Davis had to offer, and answered with shots that stunned not only Davis, but those in attendance. The usually patient Davis got off to a slow start in the early rounds as he waited for Roach to make a mistake that he could capitalize on. But Roach refused to give Davis the window to counter and press the play. Davis smiled and talked to Roach early in the fight, but had to get serious once he understood that his opponent wouldn't wilt under the bright lights. Roach Jr. 29 had faced Davis in the amateurs and fell short.
Start there too. I feel like Lamont definitely won. All right, G. I feel like Lamont Roach won. I definitely feel like Lamont Roach won. But a draw, like, it is what it is type shit, you know? I ain't hating on the decision.
Their careers went in different directions once they turned pro, with Davis being one of boxing's biggest stars and Roach being known as a solid fighter who lost in his only other opportunity, a world championship, in a defeat to Jamel Herring for the World Boxing Organization Super Featherweight title in 2019. Davis's ascent to fame was punctuated by his knockout win over Ryan Garcia in 2023, where he laid claim to being the face of boxing. He almost let the title slip away in an underwhelming showing. Their history may have given Davis a false sense of confidence going into the fight, but Roach was well prepared for everything Tank had to offer, including his renowned fight-ending tower. By the middle rounds, Davis's smile dissolved, and he understood that the knockout he expected wouldn't come easy. The champion began to let his hands go to create gaps, but Roach held his ground and caught the champion with counters and combinations. Davis worked almost entirely to the body, banging away as Roach stayed on the front foot and pushed forward. Undeterred, Roach would sneak a counter in whenever Davis's attack stalled in round 8. Roach stunned Davis with a counter right hand, although Davis was never in any real danger. The counter-punching showed that he couldn't rumble recklessly. I feel like I was breaking him down as the rounds were going on, but he kept coming, so I didn't want to make any mistakes. Davis said I kept it careful. Realizing the fight could be getting away, Davis 30 pressed the action in the championship rounds. Although he hit some big power shots, he never came close to hurting Roach, but the activity gave him the final 2 rounds on all 3 scorecards to salvage the draw and leave New York with the title. Davis landed 103 of 279 punches in an extremely economic affair, while Roach was more active, hitting 112 of 400 punches.
It was a great event. Great event. It was a great fight. They put in a fantastic performance. Both of them did, for real. Both of them really did put in a fantastic performance. It was a great fight, you know? All that good stuff. You know?
I'm just a little disappointed in the choice. Roach said, I thought I pulled it out, but that's what two good fighters do. I definitely thought I won, but we could run it back. Even though I didn't win tonight, I thought I did, but it's a win for me in my book. We are not happy with that. We need a real W, and that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing. Stay linked with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality content like this. Until next time, peace out.